Hi, my name is Nathan. Today we're going to do a full first story arc review of What's the Furthest Place from Here, issue numbers 1 through 6, brought to you by RatedComics. If you guys like Lord of the Flies, you guys will definitely like this comic book right here. Link in description if you wish to purchase any of the comic books in this review. Support the art, support the industry. Also, timestamps will be in description if you wish to go from issue to issue. Last but not least, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy and don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. With all that being said, let's get into the content. In this issue, we begin with Prufrock in the bathroom. To keep in mind, this is a post-apocalyptic world where there are no adults and kids roam the streets like Lord of the Fly, post-apocalyptic style. Prufrock loses his tooth and his tooth falls down the sink. Sid comes in, another kid, says, I found it, and Prufrock just turns around like, girl, you can't be barging into the bathroom like that. What if I was naked? And being kids, Sid being a kid too, she's like, why would you be naked? Anyways, you know what? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Are you sick? She looks at Prufrock, asks him, are you sick? He's like, no, I'm cool. So he throws his tooth down the drain. And she's all concerned about Prufrock. What's happening to you? Are you getting old? And he's like, no, I'm a year away from getting old. You know that. Is old like 18 or like being a legal adult? And keep in mind, there are no adults. And the writers did not explain that in this issue, but it keeps you on the hook for further issues to come. So Sid tells Prufrock, I found it. And she's like, you found what? I found meaning, and it's a Daryl Jones, John Oates, Private Eye album. And what the meaning is, you have to find a song that represents everything of who you are. It defines everything who you are. And Prufrock is like, what the heck, kiddo? And Sid's like, well, give it back. No, your choice is supposed to be what defines you. It's your everything. You got to go back and choose wisely. So they're in a record store. And this is bringing back, I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember this, but it brings back like the Sam Goody days or the Music Warehouse days where it was cool to go to the music store and buy music. And then Sid's like, well, that's the one for me. And Prufrock's like, why'd you choose it? And Sid's like, I don't know. It just looked cool. And Prufrock's like, no, these two guys look cool. And it's SSD Control. And she's like, whoa, I don't know. I guess it looks cool. I don't know. I mean, it's weird. And then there's a knock on the door. Alabama, she's like the alpha female leader of the group, is like, it's after curfew. We're not open. And it says like, well, what was that? And they're like, who is that? And the door knocks again. Alabama tells the kid, shh. Seriously, shut up. And she tells Prufrock to shut up too. So Alabama tells the crew, guys, grab your gear. Oberon, which is the bald Mohawk dude, get up to the top of the roof and tell me what you see. I'm not opening the door until I know everything. And I got to make sure it's safe. Sid's like, it's Slug. And Prufrock is like, kiddo, it's not Slug. No, I told you he'll come back. And then they're like, no, Slug is never, ever coming back. You know that he's a grown-up. Whatever he's out there, he isn't your friend. Believe me, I wish it was Slug too. And then Alabama's like, no, it's Slug. And all the kids are like, this is exactly how I picture kids dialoguing with one another. Sid's like, I knew it, let him in. Alabama's like, hold on. She's not letting him in. He's all messed up and it's all sussy and they don't want to open it. So Baron goes to the top of the roof and Baron gives him the go-ahead, and it looks like he has a studying problem. It's clear. So when they open the door, they're like, get ready. Anything and everything can possibly happen. When Slug gets in, he has an arrow on its back, and they're like, okay, this is some bull jive. Let's go. So they make their way to the streets, and we get this sense of post-apocalyptic world building. Lord of the Flies, where are the adults at when these kids want to get cray? Alabama's like, hey, I love the dialogue here. You guys hurt our friend. And then we see these two eerie looking, faceless, you don't know what they are, but they're called the Strangers. And then Alabama's like, we got some questions for you guys. Everything looks like it's sussy, it's eerie, and there's someone else out there. Alabama's like, all right, look, we got to get back inside. Don't. A slingshot hits one of the kids in the back of the head, knocking them out cold. And it's these pigs in masks, which we can only assume it's other children. Look at the socks this girl's wearing right here. You know it's other kids. And it's kids carrying a kid. Now they're in pigs territory, and Mallory is like, oh man, it's about to go down. It's too late. So I love the flashback between Slug getting healed, and every other panel is Slug getting healed. What's going down the streets with these pigs? Slug getting healed, more drama going down. And this is like raw and uncut, and I love the rawness of this. Alabama tells Warwick, hey, you guys are in violation of the neighborhood pact. Why are you in our territory? Once again, it's back and forth panel between Sid and Slug having a conversation or looking like, hey, have you been just wondering what the heck's going on? The pigs are like, you know why, Alabama? And she's like, I don't know why. That's why I asked. The guy in the pig mask, whatever they are, you are in violation of the pact. They're like, okay, enough. That's what we just said. What do we violate? And they're like, you have a grown-up in your house. And that grown-up, I could only imagine is Slug. Alabama and crew are like, okay, there's only one way they could have known we had a grown-up in the house, is because they chased that person into our territory. And how would you know if we had a grown-up in the house if he didn't break the pact to come into our territory to begin with? And then Sid and Slug are having a conversation of, where have you been? It's been months since I've seen you. And Sid's like, no, it's been 42 days since I've seen you, Slug. Keep in mind, there's no calendars, I imagine. Slug tells Sid, this is where I've been, and there's something better for you. I know what's going on with you, and you have to go there. And before he can hand her anything, even the pigs have to huddle up like, okay, what the heck are they talking about? They know they messed up. And they're like, all right, what's done is done. Hand over the grown-up. We'll leave your neighborhood. And Slug tells Sid about the wastelands and what did you find? Everything. I found everything. It's almost like he's hinting that it's paradise, and girl, that's where you need to go. And then the pigs are like, okay, what do you guys say? So Sid's like, oh my God, the city is real, isn't it? And Alabama's like, I say you guys get jacked up. And this fight right here, happening right here, says everything you need to know. Gritty, raw, exciting. Wow, I mean, this art right here, I sure as heck can appreciate it. Slug hands Sid over something. It's wrapped up, and you look like it's shaped like it's a firearm, but it's also a map to where this wasteland, this paradise that Sid needs to go is at. She opens it, and she's like, ah. Okay, so as the fight goes on, Sid walks outside. Prufrock tells her to get back inside. Once again, we see the strangers with the key. How do they get this key to the back door of the record alley where the kids are hiding out at? And then Sid tells him, stop it. I said, that's enough. And she pulls out the strap. And they're like, Sid, that can't be real. And Sid's like, I don't know if it's real. Meanwhile, the strangers get into the back door. What are they going to do with Slug? And the pigs are like, okay, I call bulljive. Take the gun away from her. And they're like, Warwick. Okay, that's who Warwick is. It's the main guy. Even if it is real, she's not going to know how to shoot it. And she don't know how to aim it. And she don't have the balls. Turns out Sid does have the balls. She shoots, bang, we get the silhouette of the strangers, and we can only imagine what they took Slug out for. And there's still no explanation to it, but I love the mystery, and the story keeps moving forward as it goes. Jesus Christ, Sid, are you explaining? And she's like, oh, I guess it's real. That's funny. Hand it over, says Alabama. Sid did hit some other pig in it, and you see the blood in his abdomen, and he goes down for the count. So they leave and they retreat, and Alabama tells him to stay out the neighborhood, and we see the strangers hovering around Slug. And they're like, freaking A, Sid, I didn't know you have it in you. And Alabama tells Mallory, are you an idiot, Mallory? What did I do? She just killed one of theirs. We're all effed. And now you're saying we're all awesome? Well, yeah. Shut up, girl. Shut up. Alabama tells Sid to hand over the firearm. This is dangerous. Why did you leave your poster? You're supposed to stay with Slug. Well, where is Slug? Is he okay? So they run back, check up on him, and they realize he's gone. Bloodstains, and they also see a blood trail that they follow. And when they realize that blood trail led to the back door, Alabama's like, it's impossible. He couldn't have opened it. There's no way to unlock it. But how did the strangers have a key to it? And plus, if he came from the wastelands, why would he go back there? Baron's like, I don't know, but he wasn't dead before. And Sid's like, but now he is. So they have a party, I guess, in memory of Slug, and they drink and they get toasted. I can tell if these are kids here, that ain't Capri Sun they're drinking. As Oberon looks over the roof and Sid joins them, they're surrounding their record alley. They're angry about what's going on. Oberon tells Sid, because of Slug and because of what you did today, they're going to want to have a council meeting about what happened. And we don't know what's going to happen after that. I don't know. Meanwhile, Alabama and the crew has a conversation. Like, what the hell happened tonight, Alabama? If Slug did die, where is he? We don't know. We deduced that we haven't gotten a new kid since the strangers put Sid here. And the strangers are the one that bring these kids here and put them in place, and they stay in place. But they're just like, if the strangers put him here, then why did the strangers bring Slug back just to take Slug away? So it just drives them bonkers. And before they even start getting at some answers here, Someone pukes up his cocktail dinner. They just don't have the answers to all this yet, and none of this makes sense to them. So Sid tells Oberon, you know, Slug told me about this place and I don't want to go downstairs. The laughter and the drinking, the partying is too much. Oberon tells her, you know, being an adult is not what you realize. And when you realize when you're an adult, you're not going to remember things. You're not going to get the answers to. Because Sid has questions like, what is this place? What's this place, this wasteland that Slug was talking about? And that's on her mind right there. So I don't know why Oberon decides to just say, hey, I'm going to leave my post. Can you watch my post? I'm going to go down there, join the party. At first, he's not really wanting to do it. But Sid convinces him, I can watch the post. Nothing's going to happen. Just go down there and have a good time. And he does. And while he's down there, Sid's like, nothing's going to happen tonight anyway. But yet, we see these two strangers looking up at Sid like, no, something is going to happen. So be careful, girlie. There's a whole lot of book with this. And I got to leave a little meat on the bone with this issue. But what I do love about this book is it moves the story forward. I love the idea of you got to pick a music that embodies everything about yourself. The book does not provide a lot of background to the reader, but it just jumps into this world and you're instantly immersed with the trials and tribulations of these kids. There's rawness to that depicts it's just rawness and chaos and what a world will look like with no adults in modern post-apocalyptic time. What's the Furthest place for me? It was a fun and powerful read. I enjoyed it, and the winner of this comic book is going to also enjoy this too. And also, if you do decide to purchase this issue, link in description if you wish to purchase this issue from RatedComics.com. In this second issue of Lord of the Flies meets post-apocalyptic times, Alabama and gang, they go on the hunt for Sid. And they go to this bank where they believe Sid will be. This bank with the big gang where they fight issue number 1. Prufrock is like, I don't believe Sid's in there. Alabama, the black girl, is like, you just got outvoted. And yes, she is in there. We going in. So they kick the door down, and to their surprise, there's nobody home. And they're like, okay, I don't know if they're ready for us or this is some bull jive. The crew points to Mallory like, hey girl, maybe your observational skills were not on point this time. And surprisingly, this pig mask comes up, surprises Mallory like, hello? Hell no! Whacks the pig upside the head. And these kids dial like they talk like teenagers would talk. So it turns out this redhead, her name is Meryl. So they ask Meryl, where'd your gang go? I don't know, they just go without telling me. Well, this baseball bat will help you remember, says Mallory. Alabama's like, no, don't. Where's Sid? Meryl does not know where Sid is or who Sid is. So meanwhile, Oberon calls out to the crew like, yo, I think I found something. So just for safe measure, Lafayette drags Meryl along with them. Well, what's this? It's a door. Well, you said you found something. Yeah, I did, but I can't open it. Then why'd you tell us you found something? That's what Alabama says, all angry about it. So they ask Meryl to unlock it. And Meryl's like, nope, it's locked. Can't help you there. Lafayette does a gangster move, and she's like, okay, hold up. Meryl's like, wait a minute. The key is over there. They get the key until they're surprised. It's full of junk, but in this post-apocalyptic world, gold, art, cash, it means nothing without adults to them. So they get mad at Meryl and they just get ready to leave. You know what? Sid could be anywhere in the wastelands. We just have to wander around. And it's good world building and personal story with this gang on the hunt for Sid to try to get back a crew member of theirs. Meryl wants to go with them and they're like, no, you stay here. This is your family. No, I don't want to stay here. I want to go with you guys. You guys are cool. I guess it's like a reluctant tag along. So when Alabama and the crew leave, the boys in blue, that's what they really are. We're like, yo, where are you going? And Alabama tells her, look, we don't want no trouble. We're just going to go home. Well, you guys are pretty far from your neighborhood. The rules are you were harboring an adult last night. That's what would the strangers say about that? And the strangers, we don't know the mystery behind them. They're those two tall figure, faceless beings that we don't know, but it seems like they have some kind of control or dictation here in this post-apocalyptic world of world building. Homeboy, the boy in blue, says something about Sid, and we might know where Sid is. It just hits a trigger point to Alabama. Take off the bus, riot ensues, they tip over the bus, and I guess they just go home after that. So Prufrock gets tired of running and running. They did some major damage with the boys in blue, and he's like, man, slow down, I'm tired. Well, we gotta get home, you know? Well, what you did right there was stupid, attacking the boys in blue, and Alabama was like, I don't care. I did what I had to do. Obviously, Prufrock is injured, he's bleeding, but when they get home, to their surprise, their warehouse where they're shacked up in a music store is lit up on fire. So we don't know who did it, and they don't know who did it. That's the mystery right there. So once they get the fire put out, the undercarriage is banged on. They need to open the door, and it's their other crew members to save. They let them out. They save them. It's all good. Who did this? Who did the business? Was this the boys in blue? Did you guys see anything? That's what Alabama asked one of the crew. They're like, we don't know who did this. We just know we're alive and we don't know who did this. So upon investigating, Prufrock tells Alabama it's going to get dark here soon. We need to get shelter. What's the plan? Well, Meryl, who tags along with him, is showing to be proving useful now. I know a place, and it's strangers approved, meaning those two tall figurines that we have no idea about. So I guess the strangers dictate where these kids go. I don't know, but I love how it keeps you in mystery, but only gives you little nuggets of information to put it together. I love the dialogue and showing how far and distant through different sceneries they're going to. In this section right here, we see Prufrock is having a dream about Sid, and Sid tells Prufrock, you can't follow me. All the things we have will be burned to the ground. Then everything we lose will once be more found. I don't know what kind of foreshadowing that is, but when Prufrock wakes up from that dream, he rubs his eyes, he screams, he's like, okay, it was just a bad dream. But guess what? The real life nightmare kicks in, because we don't know who these yellow-eyed kids are, but they do not look like somebody you want to have Capri Suns and string cheese with. They just look vicious, eerie, and even Prufrock is like, all right, everyone get up now. As they get up, you know, they take their weapons. They're like, what the hell? They got my bat. Mallory's pissed. Those were our stuff. They took our bags. Let's go kick their butts. And Alabama was like, everyone stop. Back away slowly. What for? Mallory says. They let us live, but they took our stuff. But they let us live, said Alabama. We're in their spot. So where do we go to get all this stuff back? So Meryl tells them we're going to the market. You've been taking us to the market? The market is a myth. So we're going to the city. It doesn't even exist. Oh, Meryl's like, oh no, it's real, and I know where it is. So as they continue their journey, and at first it seems like it's the Boston market. I love that callback there. They get pissed at Meryl like, you don't know what you're doing. I know what I'm talking about, says Meryl. They took us here all the time. I just know it's here. So when they push Meryl like back off and Meryl goes into these bushes, they see that the market is for real as they go through the opening. And as they go in, the door opens and they're greeted by this brother named David. Asked him what you guys need today. Grab what you need. And then when he asked him, okay, now that you've taken what you wanted, you got to pay. Pay? What do you mean pay? Well, we accept traded gems, goods, growing up teeth. You got to give up something or we'll take the boy. Meaning Merle. At first, Alabama was like, oh no, don't touch him. And she pulls out her bat like, you ain't getting nothing. And I'm assuming she got the bat from the market because obviously their weapons were stolen from before. David tells her, look, your family gravely injured another family a night ago, which were the boys in blue. And they are my biggest customers. So if you're going to rob me, it ain't wise. These mystical shadow kids, oh man, this is eerie too. They emerge, are like, hey, if you guys want to throw down, we'll throw down. And Alabama was like, look, we don't have to resort to violence. We're hungry, we have no home, we just need food. Well, good thing you came to the market where deals happen every day. And then they go, that's today, that's today, that's today. It's just an eerie chant. So Alabama walks out. She makes a wise decision like, hey, we got supplies, but we lost our weapons, but we got food. So the group is just telling them like, what the heck are you doing? Look, Alabama's like, we haven't slept, we haven't eaten, we lost everything, but we have some food, we can regroup. Now we need to find shelter and figure out where to go. So another story member comes on and says, hey, bye, thanks for coming in. But you guys got to go because the boys in blue, they come here every day. They see you here. It makes bad news for us. So if you need a place to go that's stranger approved, they give Alabama a ticket to go or some kind of picture to go, and it's called Grandma's house. We don't know what the mystery is with Grandma's house, but the end, it shows mystery. They have somewhere to go. It pushes the story forward. And in my opinion, the second issue of this comic series is an improvement from its debut. I was more interested in this than I was in the first issue, and usually it's the other way around. But it, like I said, it drops you off with little nuggets of mystery and little nuggets of just world building where you're putting the pieces together, but you still want more. So we get to explore more of this adultless world and some appealing characters like Meryl and the workers at the market, which that was interesting how the markets ran, but we don't know who these shadowy figures are, and it keeps the mystery there. So there's so much to appreciate about the characters and the emotions on this book that I think you'll have a hell of a read. And link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. We begin this issue with Prufrock having a nightmare. He's climbing up the ladder and he hears Sid saying, all the things we will have will be buried in the ground and everything we lose will once more be found. Wait! So he goes up to the roof and he sees the strangers in an oversized manner destroying the cities and skyscraper like Godzilla style. Where did everyone go? Says Prufrock. They know, Prufrock. They know. And blood is dripping out of her mouth. He wakes up from this horrible, horrible nightmare in their new home that they found in issue number 2. You can check out that review as well if you haven't. He wakes up, he's still bleeding from the midsection. He walks down this eerie hallway and he's like, what is this place? We don't know. That's the cliffhanger you left us with in issue number 2. So when he opens the door, he sees Mallory looking at stacks of TVs with blurred, dotted screens, and he's just like, what'd you do? I don't know. I just touched the light and it woke up. Well, what's this? And there's like a reference of The Baker's Dozen, and I'm not familiar with that show. But he sees a VHR cassette, and it says Sid comes to visit. And since the whole point of this book at the end of issue 1 is them looking for Sid, well, let's play the tape and see what it is. So they accidentally, well, they didn't play the tape because they didn't know what it is at that point. So they accidentally pushed it in. They're hitting the VCR thing in a humorous moment where they're not going to know what a VCR is, and they're so out of touch with technology. So as they slap and the thing triggers, they see Sid display on the screen saying, hi, my name is Sid and I just walked here, I guess. Well, dear, do you have a family? Whoever's off screen talking to her. Yes, my family are the Academy, where you're very far from home. And Prufrock, not knowing this kind of technology, Sid, we're here. Can you hear us? Sid! And it's like, Proof, she's not there. It's not real, says Prufrock. Well, it is real. It's just not now. It was before. So Prufrock and Mallory have an argument of some sort. The door opens up and it's, aren't you nice coming to visit us without being asked? It's like, okay, who are these people? And it turns out they're elderly people, but they're not elderly. They're kids dressed up as elderly. So they're like talking in an elderly manner. What are your names, sweetheart? Where'd you guys come from? And Proof is like, I don't know, how should I know? But Johnny, to back up, you guys are getting too close to this personal bubble. And when this brother didn't listen, Prufrock tells him, back up. Haymakers him in the face. What'd you hit him for? He's an elder. He is not an elder. It's a funny dialogue with Mallory and everyone else saying, these are elders. You're not supposed to hit an elder. You're not supposed to fight an elder. Am I the only one freaking seeing this? They're not elders. Look at them. Alabama and Lafayette came in. What's going on? Well, apparently we're not the only one in this place. I can see that. Mallory tells Alabama, look, Prufrock hit an elder. You hit an elder, bro? Turns out, old lady takes off her wig and she's not an elder. It's just a kid being dressed up as an elder. So she's like, we did nothing wrong. We were being nice, but you did break into our house and then you attacked us. But Proof was like, whatever makes the past appear again, whatever. Play that thing. So Prufrock tells Alabama and gang, Sid is on this tape and they think it's crazy. But when the tape actually plays and they see and hear Sid in recorded format, they're like, oh, well, she was here, right? Yeah, she was here. Where did she go? We want to find her. Well, the strangers took her. I'm sorry, but she was a good girl in your family. Is that it? Let Nana make you some pies. This is like an eerie, trippy, who the F is Nana? So Prufrock leaves. He's pissed. There is a funny moment when they're eating pie and Meryl, the redhead from the Pig Gang, and they have like this breaking bread and they show who's gods and they share their gods. I'll let you guys read that if you do decide to purchase this comic book. Link in description, by the way, if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. So Prufrock is pissed. He's walking down the hallway. He hears a dog. He asks the dog, talking to the dog as if the dog will know, hey, you seen Sid? Let me get this off you. I must be losing my mind talking to a dog as if I know you've seen Sid. The dog growls. There's something behind the window. It's the strangers. And we're in issue number 3, and we know little to nothing about these strangers other than they dictate where the kids stay and how they get their food and what they eat. So Prufrock's like, what the hell with this? So as they're eating their pie, Prufrock kicks open the door. Wham! They're like, what are you doing? What did you do? I was watching us, so it got it. How'd you get it? And then Prufrock holds up a cane, like Alabama's like, oh, I never thought of that. Nana's like, do you know what you've done, you idiot boy? You killed us all. What the fudge are you thinking? Let it go. No, I ain't letting it go. I got one of them, and there's one more out there because I saw 2 of them. And Nana's like, they're strangers for a reason. We stay away from them. That's the deal. You just broken it. Because they stole our family member. I need answers, and perhaps they can tell us what the deal is. And this stranger is clearly like moving in position, adjusting itself, and about to get ready to get up. And Alabama tries to talk some sense into Prufrock. Even if he knows Sid is still alive, can this thing even talk? And Prufrock's like, she had a map. A map of what? and I think that's referencing issue number 1 with Sid. Stranger gets up, about to make a run for it. Lafayette, stop it, says Alabama. Lafayette just holds up a knife, and blindly, the stranger just walks up into the knife, impaling himself. And it's like, what? They can be killed? They can bleed? We didn't know that. We just didn't know what they were. And then Nana tells him, hey, Prufrock, you know what? Don't even bother asking the stranger where Sid is, because they can't talk. They don't speak. And it turns out they do speak. They're there. Puts hand on his face, and Prufrock just gets like this guilt driven, like, we have to leave now. And Nana's like, okay, we'll deal with this. We'll clean it up. Alabama's like, thanks. I don't know how we'll repay you, but we got to get the heck up out of here and find a new place to live. Otherwise, we're dead. If the other families find out we did this, we're dead. And Prufrock's like, we're already dead. So Nana gives him a last chance offer. You know, before you guys get some distance, you know, you could always stay here. Join our family. We'll keep you safe. Alabama's like, look, very kind of you, but we got to go. But the other 2 members of the academy, one's name's Mark, and I believe the other one's name is Leia. They're like boyfriend and girlfriend, so they decide to stay. But it's so eerie that why would you want to stay? Maybe they just got comfortable being there, having a roof over their head. So argument ensues, and when the rest of the academy leave, minus Marky and Layla, they leave, they go find, we got to find our girl. Let's go find Sid. And I love this eerie moment where they walk by the woods, nothing's there, and then as they cross, stranger appears there. This is an awesome scene where Nana offers Marky and Layla hot cocoa, but the hot cocoa is poison. But when Layla collapses, and Marky's like, what the heck's going on? He gets clobbered from behind, must have put a concussion or a wound in his head, and it shows their point of view as they wake up in the dark. That's heavy, and they hear them talking notes because they're almost grown-ups. We should have taken him. It's not worth. Shut up, Grampy. We rescued him. This was worth it. The academy are going to be split up or killed by now, right? Right. So no shame in getting the Bold folks home some new blood. So they're going to recruit these people. And when they wake up and they realize they're unclothed, in garments, what the heck's going on? Is this the bad part? Nana looks at Marky like, no, this is the bad part. As she puts pliers to Layla's teeth. Ouch. So as the gang is walking down the woods, they hear something. Is it the boys in blue? I don't know, but get down. If you start making some noise, they're going to hurt us. Car pulls up, stops. They get out. Notice the clown shoes right there. Hope it ain't Pennywise. Hello? Someone out there? They must be the Carnies. They're supposed to be friendly, right? Says Mallory. I don't know. We don't have any friends at this point. And they wake up. And I love how Merle, the former pig gang, has a mouthful of grass, literally. And when they turn around, they look at the Carnies like, nobody ever told you shouldn't be out at night? Oh, God. Like, you guys just look different. Well, you guys want to come to the carnival? I imagine that's where the next issue will step out. So now Marky and Layla are shaved. They're initiated into the bald folks' home. They get a knock on the door, and it's one of the strangers. Oh, you got our message. How do you communicate with the strangers? And yes, it's established that they talk, but how do you establish communication in them? Nana informs the stranger the body's in her, so they're thinking it's the other one. There's 2 of them, right? Because that's one picking him up, and the other one's dead. Prufrock said he sold 2. And they told the stranger it wasn't us. And a 3rd stranger walks in to help carry out the dead stranger. So they're like, oh my gosh, what is happening to the family? But I don't know. Nana tells them, so I can't tell who this bold person speaking is. I imagine that's Marky, as he gets both his teeth pulled out and enter initiated into the bold folks home. What happens to our family now? But if there's 2 of the strangers, doesn't that mean there's much more? And we get this last panel of there is a lot more strangers where that came from, and that is to be determined. As usual, this turned out to be another great issue. The highlight of the book is the stuff in the surveillance room, in my opinion. The bold folks home was probably a sanitarium of some sort. So there's a room full of monitors and VCRs, and I enjoy Prufrock and Mallory's humor and how they really don't understand how they work. Now, you get to know a little bit more about the strangers. It was always indicated or hinted that there's only 2, or there may be only be 2 strangers, but it turns out there was a ton more of them. We know the strangers established where the kids stay and where they eat. Where is Sid, by the way? This book does answer your questions bit by bit, but at the same time, it leaves you with enough mystery to keep you pulled in and wanting more. This is an excellent comic, and you will enjoy this, adding it to your comic book collection. Link in description if you wish to do so. If this is your first time here, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to this channel. My voice usually sounds better than this. It'll help Rated Comics to make more comic book reviews and comic book related content like this. So we begin this issue with the Academy gang getting picked up from the previous issue, issue number 3, and they're in this armor truck, army truck, and they're going to the carnival. Meryl tells Mallory, hey, dude, I think they're going to kill us. It's the redhead ginger person. Mallory tells Meryl, dude, they're not going to kill us. And Meryl's like, well, how do you know? Mallory is like, fine, just to ease you, I'll ask, hey, you, are you going to kill us, clown? And the clown honks his nose like, burka, burka. I don't know, that clown noise that we all know. See? So they're not going to kill us. And it's kind of a humorous moment. Then when they get to the carnival, they get to their destination, this clown tells all the kids in the academy, all right, everyone, get out, time for some fun. And Mallory's like, see, pig baby, they're not going to kill us. Or maybe they might kill us. Just mess with Merle. Merle's like, dude, my name's Merle. And Mallory's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's pig baby because you thought they were going to kill us and we're at a carnival. That's nothing pertaining to killing us. They get introduced by this other clown with the clown belly, so to speak. And the clown greets him. Welcome to the carnival. Everyone, all of the families, you're the last to arrive. But of course, you're fashionably late. And we're so glad you can make it because there is a very important meeting tonight. And Proof Rock, the bald dude, is like, well, what meeting is this? Where is here? What is this? You guys are at the carnival. Go in, have fun. Don't forget there's a big meeting at dawn. They don't know what meaning this is, and this is where it gets very interesting. It's just like, okay, carnivals are fun, but what kind of meaning is going on? So when Alabama and the gang are walking, Polly's like, dude, everyone's staring at us, and Alabama tells her it's fine. So Alabama thinks to herself, we need to find out what this meeting is all about. I got a bad feeling it's about us, because in the previous issues, they let an adult, which is against rules. They disobeyed the stranger's rules. There's just a whole lot of stuff happening, but feel free to check back in those previous issues. And also when the first story arc of this issue ends in issue number 6, I will compile a full review on this. So Proof Rock suggests to Alabama, well, let's split up and see if we can find out what this meeting's all about. We could ask some of our friends about this. Mallory's like, dude, we're the only friends we got. And Alabama is a very capable leader. She's like, fine, everybody stick with the buddy, but Proof Rock, you're with me. And she tilts her head back like, dude, I wish I hadn't say that, but it's like the best case scenario for this. So we get Oberon, sitting underneath the statue, and Meryl goes up to Oberon like, dude, what are you offering your own for? Like, we're supposed to be sticking together. We're supposed to be with the buddy, looking to see what this meeting's all about. But Oberon is thinking about his whole life that will be defined by a few moments. It's not a measure of your deeds and your intent and how you choose to live. None of those matter except for a few short moments. He is going through a guilt trip of what happened in issue number 1 with him and Sid. He was on the rooftop overlooking while everyone downstairs was getting hammered. Sid wanted to go up there and take a look, and he allowed her to do that when he knew it was his watch. It was his responsibility. So he went down, wanted to have fun and get plastered, get sauce with the homeboys, with the boys. You know how we are with the boys, right? And because of that, Sid is no longer there, so he feels guilty that he ruined everything because he wanted to be nice to Sid when she was sad. And now she's gone. I don't know if she ran away or if the strangers took her. So he vents his entire heart to Meryl, and Meryl not knowing a thing about, wow, that's crazy. But who the fuck is Sid? Seriously. And that's a funny moment right there. And he's like, you know what, just go away, Meryl. Like, obviously you don't know anything about the situation. So in the carnival, Alabama, Lafayette, and Proof Rock are walking, and they're just admiring how wild this place is. During their conversation, Alabama reminds Proof Rock, do you really know what goes on in the carnival? And Proof Rock's like, dude, it's a carnival. Topper told us about it when we were kids. Well, yeah, do you remember what the carnival really is? Asked Alabama again. So when Alabama asked Proof Rock, what did Topper say to you that you remember about the carnival? He just BS's her saying, well, he said, Proof Rock, you're a small child. If this is really important, someone will mention it again when you get older. And Alabama knows she's getting bull-jived over here. And Proof Rock's like, what? It was over 10 years ago. He sees something in the crowd that catches his eyes. And in this yellow hooded sweatshirt, he believes it's Sid. So he tells them, Lafayette and Alabama, did you guys see anything? Did you guys see that? It was her. And Alabama's like, dude, I didn't see anything, Lafayette. Did you see anything? No, we didn't see nothing. So he runs to chase the yellow hooded figure. Alabama lets him go. Sid, hey Sid, anyone see where the kid in the yellow hooded jacket went? And he looks at this sussy clown haunted house because some guy in the eye patch points like, yeah, and went that way. That's sus. The eye patch for one. The clown house is sus, and because of it and Pennywise, clowns are sus. I'm joking about that, but deep down, I am not joking about that. So Meryl runs off on his own after being kicked out by a baron, and he sees his former pig gang. And one of the pig guns like, hey Meryl, you see where he went? And Meryl's like, who went where? One of the punks from the academy went this way. Weren't you just looking for him? Henry, one of the other pig gang leaders, sent everyone looking for him. No, I mean, what are you guys looking for? So that sets up something else that takes place later. Now, here is where I love the clapback with Alabama and this blue gang from issue number 2, where they're like, aha, look what we have here. You come to apologize for messing up our bus in issue number 2, says this blue gang. I don't recall his name. And Alva's like, yeah, I'm not sorry about that. You know why we're all here, right? Why the carnival came. And blue guy's like, I have a pretty good idea, but the other families want your heads, Alabama. And Alabama's like, dude, that's not gonna happen. Well, how many laws did you break? Alabama's like, your laws are our laws. I love the clapback here, how she has a rebuttal for everything she says. Even to the point where this kid is like, dude, do you always have to act cute, Alabama? Psh, I am cute. That's not gonna help you now. They're all coming for your family, so you better be ready. Well, that's why I've come to you, so we can work out a deal. What deal? I love how it keeps you lingering in mystery, but yet there's so much more to the story. Now this right here where Prufrock gets his ass beat by the pig gang just because they found him with hello handsome. So they just start getting to work on this guy. But Prufrock gets the first punch. Go out like a champ. But he gets clobbered from behind. What's the meaning of this? I don't know. But meanwhile, Meryl finds Mallory where she's getting her mac on with this other boy. Just, you know, tasting them up like a Las Vegas buffet. Sample all that platter, girl. And Meryl's like, hey, you know, you got to go get your boy, Oberon, because he's getting messed up over here. He's getting killed real bad. And she's like, oh, can he fight himself for a little bit longer? I got to go back to this face lock. And then she finally decides, okay, I got to go rescue my boy, Oberon. But before she does that, we get this awesome panel right here where it talks about what really happened, how the world came to an end in this sussy haunted house clown act. Do you know how the world ended? Everything your family told you is wrong. You've heard there was a war between all nations and every grown-up fought to the death. You were told that our planet was harvested by strange visitors from another world. Keep in mind, this is like a bullhorn or a haunted house announcement while Prufrock is walking through it, and he's seen all these panels over here, and he's still looking for Sid in that haunted house. Or perhaps you heard when children reach the age of 18, mutations and diseases ravaged their bodies. Most died quick, agonizing deaths. They were the lucky ones. Or maybe you believe the old gods returned to walk among us one final time, to take those worthy and destroy the non-believers. But none of that is true. This is the real cause of the end of the world. Through this door, and I love how the door says, this way is the truth, with these two legs protecting and inspired. It's like eerie, creepy. The world ended because of you. And he turns around thinking it's Sid. Hey, hello, Sid, are you there? Anybody in there? And we get this imposing stranger just looking down at him behind him, and he has no idea what's going on. Meanwhile, as Prufrock gets beaten down by these pig gangs, and the pig gang's like, well, you're not going to squeal for us? Any final words you want to say before we continue this beatdown? He's like so winded from getting beat, he couldn't even say Mallory's full name. He just says, hi, Mal. She comes up from behind him, clobbers him, and she says something that I am pretty sure that every teenager would say when she gets a sneak attack from behind. Kick their asses, Academy. Kind of freaking me out that they don't want to talk. And Oberon's like, well, I kind of made him insecure. It's my fault. I made fun of them for talking. And Mallory's like, how's it going, my boy, Oberon? Not bad. How about you? You shouldn't have came for me. And it turns out more pigs are coming to finish us off. And Mallory's like, BS, I shouldn't have come for you because you would have came for me, right? Yeah, I know I would have came for you. Then we stick together always. Meanwhile, while they're fighting the pig gang, Alabama seems to apparently struck a deal with the blue gang from issue number 2. And there's a lot of mystery here, and that's how we end issue number 4 with what's the furthest place from here. I thoroughly love this series. I personally believe this has the potential to become a show. It should become a show. It's like Lord of the Flies with a modern twist and teenagers to it. I absolutely dig it. And by the way, link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. You will not regret it. There's a lot of moving pieces going around. It gives you a little bit of hint how the world ended, or at least allegedly how the world ended. But it's just so much mystery, but so much fun reading this book. I really enjoy it, man. I will say there is a lot of back and forth with this issue. Not sure if it's by design, but it does read quickly and it packs a whole lot of punch. And pun intended. We begin this issue 10 minutes ago with the brawl breaking out between Mallory, Oberon, and the Pig Mask gang. Mallory gets decked in the face and reminds them that she fought toddlers that hit harder than that. O'Barron reminds her that she probably shouldn't brag about fighting toddlers, despite her kicking their asses. It's teenage humor at its best, in my opinion. When there are no adults to break up the fights, what are teenagers to do with no adult supervision? I suppose you could buy Homeboy's ear off like, don't worry about it, it's cool. She does pay the price later and gets tackled like Aaron Donald when he gets to the quarterback. In this panel, we continue with Prufrock, who follows who he believes to be Sid in the Hall of Mirrors. I was never particularly fond of that as a kid, and It #2 film, the more recent It film with Pennywise scene in the Hall of Mirrors, just didn't do any favors for me. Prufrock is begging Sid for forgiveness for issue #1 as he feels he's at fault for her running away or getting kidnapped by the strangers. The strangers add salt to his wound and don't accept his apology on behalf of Sid, I believe. In my opinion, the heart of the story is the ever-present threat of the strangers. Those creatures, whatever they are, who seem to be enforcers of the new world of the child tribes or whatnot, they become the face or faceless of the larger mystery of the story. Mallory and O'Barron are outnumbered at this point and don't seem to appear to have any fight left in them. These kids get called porcupine mofos, and it's the dude Mallory was swapping spit with the previous issue. He calls Mallory his girlfriend, and the pig gang know who the Academy are. Mallory and O'Barron and the rest of the gang, but they just can't seem to understand the new beef with these guys. It's a humor moment when he lands a punch and knocks out the pig, and Mallory curves her boyfriend named Keith when it's actually Cliff. It don't matter, you got to defend your girl's honor. We jump to an undisclosed location, the carnival, where this kid, I don't know his name, is playing the game where you throw the darts at the balloons. Their bonus prize is the plushy bear if you land the dart on the baby's head. But not a real baby, of course. The little kids will like to go again. The cost would be for food in exchange for more play, or give up your shoes for more play. You know, money don't mean nothing in this post-apocalyptic world of teenagers. The carnival worker gets distracted when his friend tells him about the fight going on with Cliff, fighting over some girl again. Turns out this ain't Cliff's first time over a girl. While they're distracted, the kids take the plushy bear and tells them deuces. We'll revisit that later. Prufrock is in the house of mirror, tackles a stranger through the glass like a linebacker who's playing for a brand new contract on the last year of his current contract, and you know that linebacker does not want to be franchise tagged. I don't know about the NFL jokes. I apologize if you guys don't watch the NFL, but I do like the NFL. While Alabama is finalizing a deal with the boys in blue, though this dialogue only makes me more curious as to what kind of deal she's actually had to work out. But we know it had something to do with Prufrock and the stranger from the previous issue, I believe it's #3, when he ended the stranger's life, which is established. You just don't do that. Alabama is informed to come quick because someone's going to die by this little kid. It's the boy who got killing the plushy bear earlier. Alabama's like, he learned his lesson now, so let him go. It don't work that way. In the carnival, you want your boy out, you got to play the game. You better hope you have good aim under pressure. Alabama tries and she misses. O'Barron asks to give it a go, and he hits the bullseye, but nothing happened. You already know something's off about this place, and they know it. Time is of the essence here, and there is not time to argue who's right or who's wrong. Alabama begs for her crew to let him go since she doesn't want everyone to see him like that. Maui comes in with the Cobra Kai kick to the head. This dude fumbles his knife, and now Alabama has a knife to his throat. She tells the crowd, make your move if you want to, but he dies the moment you do. The boys in blue from issue #2 tells Alabama to get her people in line. She's obviously upset and pissed that she witnessed one of her own just got killed, and you just gonna let it happen, boy in blue? But the thing is, at the carnival, the carnies make the rules. She's reminded if she wants to save her crew and people, stop this right now and give the knife back. Tough call, but she did what she had to do. The boy in blue takes the knife, tells the crowd that it's not going to be any more cause, any more trouble, that the Academy is cool, and no more trouble is going to be coming before the meeting tonight. And it's all good because everyone will kill the Academy if they cause any more trouble, right? Well, then your boy Prufrock tackles the stranger out the window in front of everyone. Our boy just got caught in 4K. Now, he has a dream where he's dreaming about Sid, and Sid tells him, you know they know what you did, Prufrock, and that's why I killed you. And Prufrock's like, I'm not dead. It's a very confusing state where he follows Sid up the ladder, and the question is not where or when or who or how. Then what is the question, says Prufrock? What does that mean? What's the furthest place from here? That's where the name of this book gets from. And then we have to get out of here. And Sid just turns around with blood in her mouth saying, yes, yes. So they go to the furthest place from her, and it's just like this. I'm not sure what to make of this dream. But what's really cool is the dialogue they're having in this panel. It's actually a dialogue that's going on in the next panel where they're trying to wake him up. Alabama, Mallory, and the see-through kid, where he pours water on Prufrock. What just happened? Well, Mallory poured that see-through kid's water on you, says Alabama, but it turns out see-through kid's like, hey, yo, that was not water. So Alabama asks him, why'd you jump out the window with the stranger? And then Proofrock's like, dude, the stranger, it's here. It found me. You thought that was a stranger? So he's about to confess that he killed the stranger, and Alabama's like, yo, Proofrock, man, you better calm down. I have a deal with homeboy. The boy in blue is like, well, what's wrong with him? Oh, he hit his head on the ground falling out the thing. He ate some garbage. Don't worry about it. It's cool. Yeah, totally. Alabama's like, look, listen, none of that matters. We had a deal. When the meeting happens, you'll get up and announce our deal, and that's that. And it's done, right? So Mallory's like, what deal is she talking about? Is Alabama selling us out? And Proofrock is believing, wait, you guys don't have to pay for my mistakes. You know, it was me who did it. So he tells Al, like, wait a minute, Alabama, let me tell something. And Alabama's like, no, Proofrock, no. So he confesses, it was me. I killed the strangers. Everyone is like, what are you talking about? What? And Alabama's like, you stupid asshole. They didn't know about that. And that's where we end this issue. Now, I personally love this book. I personally feel this book has Netflix, Amazon stream potential. The book maintains a sense of grim hilarity and intrigue, and it feels driven with purpose. Rosenberg and Boss, the writers, continue to put undeniable passion and care into the series. I can feel it when I read it, which elevates it in a way that makes it one of the most exciting books to read. Now, Netflix and Amazon Prime, if you guys are watching, I think this has a lot of potential to be a show. And it's hard not to love it when the love within it is so apparent. Link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. With that being said, we begin this issue with the Academy in the spinning flying saucer ride at the carnival. I personally liked that ride as a kid only because every time I went on it, it was with the girl that I liked and I was trying to get with as a kid. You know what? Don't judge me, viewer. Even as a kid, I was just still trying to function and get a little kissy, you know? The reason the Academy is on the spinner riding flying saucer ride is part of the judgment from the previous issue. Mallory hurls a little bit as Oberon is standing up like a gangster with his arms crossed, like this doesn't faze him. As Mallory's vomit makes its way towards Proofrock, Alabama asks him how he knew about Sid's map. Sid, from issue number 1, even though we haven't seen her presence or lack of presence, is still felt throughout the issue. Even though Proofrock tells her that Sid told him about it, he informed Alabama about it, but Alabama feels like it was a small breach of trust as to the timing of Proofrock informing her about it. The ride is over as Mallory's vomit lands on his face and it's time for their judgment. The Academy all make their way towards the carnival as Judgment Day begins. Or let's call it Judgment Night. Judgment Night, Judgment Night, the crowd chants. If teenagers and kids had a trial system without supervision, this is very probable way on how it would be at a carnival without a fair trial. The writers do a great job setting the stage for this. Before we get into it, I gotta just mention that when one of the kids from the Pigman gang asked Mallory to give back their mask, before she and her academy gets killed, her response is just what a teenager would say, right? Just kidding, just joking. Anyways, joking aside, so how the trial works and how they set the stage is the clown, who I imagine is the leader of the whole thing or something. First, he calls a young lad from the royalty gang and he is accused of entering a home without permission. The kid name is Gus and he denies doing any such action. The crowd calls him a liar and the verdict is in. He is guilty. Like I said, it's probably how kids would do a trial without any adult supervision. Let the punishment for his alleged crime begin. Proofrock is asked what happens now. He believes nothing, is just all for show. Show my ass, this kid gets loaded into the cannon and shot straight up through the tent. What a way to set the stage. So when he, the clown who he and the crowd are clearly ain't clowning around at all, call the academy to the stage for their judgment. Remember, this was arranged by Alabama and the boys in blue from the previous issue. Proofrock is like, let's get the F out of here. Alabama's like, yo, chill, there's a plan of all this. I got this. I really do like Alabama as their leader. Proofrock is like, hell no, they're gonna kill us and we gotta make a run for it. Alabama has no choice but to follow and run with them. This is kind of funny and it's just kids being kids in a post-apocalyptic world with no adults. And I really hope Netflix or Amazon Prime or any other major network is watching, because this has to be made into a Netflix show or film or something. I believe it has that kind of potential. You heard me say it first. The crowd is obviously booing him because judgment needs to be served. The academy is stopped by the boys in blue waiting outside the tent. Everything okay here, Alabama, says their leader. Alabama responds with, yeah, fine. Why? What else is she supposed to say? The clown leader wanting to serve up some judgment comes from behind him. The boys in blue tell him with his hands on his hip, you know, the power position kind of posture, right? That they'll take it from here. That's not how it works. They're on our territory, says the kid clown. I don't know his name, and I imagine it was done that way on purpose, or I just missed his name. The kid in blue tells him, maybe we'll take it up to the stranger and explain how you stabbed the boy without trial. Or I'm sure they'll love to hear about a kid you burnt alive at the lake. He pauses and he knows he is cornered. He lets the boys in blue take it from there and ends the show. I hope in the second story arc we get to know more about the strangers and how the world came to this. I love the allure, I love the mystery. Even though the strangers are eerie and mysterious, they serve a role on where children go and how rules are enforced. Alabama thanks him and he tells her don't thank him yet. The piggies came outside and tell the boys in blue that they want their mask back. Mallory doesn't want to give it back, and her response is all right there. Do it, Mallory, says Alabama, and she drops their pig mask on the ground. Now you have to pay them back, says the leader of the blue. Despite Alabama believing they have nothing to pay back with, he tells her, you kind of do though, you're gods. The team doesn't want to give that up. It's not gods or God how you would think of it. They took items from the bank, the most powerful house they kidnapped the kid from. The same kid, you know, Meryl. This is from issue number 2. This is the only way to make things right. But where is Meryl? I haven't seen him in this issue yet. Alabama's team look at her like, you got to do something about this. There's got to be something else. She thinks about it for a quick minute and tells the other kids, just do it. They're no good to us if we're dead, because these kids will end them. The kids gave back what they stole, or their music collection / records from what it seems. Now for the other matter at hand. The deal that Alabama made with the boy in blue from the previous issue. It's time to find out where everyone goes. Split up the academy to different gangs. Proofrock can't believe it and thinks we'll just get a new house, easy peasy, because their house burned down. That's why they're on the run. Alabama's answer gives us more insight. You think the strangers are just gonna give us a new house now? This is the only way we get to live. By the order of the Blue Boys, the former House Academy will now be split up for adoption. Each house will select one member, and after they've selected their member, grab your stuff, the carnivals or this stuff is over. They obviously don't want to go through with it, but she tells them to line up. Now, who remembers this thing as a kid at recess, being hand selected to go on a team? To me, it's nostalgic. I wasn't always the first kid to be picked, and I wasn't always the last kid to be picked. I was more in the middle, but just attention on where you're gonna go. And I love how the writers and the artists created this, where every kid in black and white is black and white, but the one kid in color is the kid gonna be selected. So like, just like this sex castle right here, they take the handsome boy in the beanie as he's clearly in color and every other kid is not in color, you know? So after everyone is selected, Proofrock, Alabama, Mallory, all the kids are left, and that's it. The boys in blue is like, the carnival's over. Mallory's like, well, what about the rest of us? And the boy in blue is like, well, you guys are basically grown up now. I can't stick you with some family and just have you leave in a few months. So we're gonna take all of you in, all of you. Well, almost all of you. And then the boys in blue continue their agreement, or they continue their speech as per our agreement, Alabama, for the crimes you committed against the families and against the strangers. Because remember, Proofrock killed the stranger, but he didn't confess to that until the last issue. And even then, Alabama withheld that information, so Proofrock shot the gang in their own foot, so to speak. So Alabama was like, yeah, I get it, just sent me to death already. No, you are sentenced to life with the keepers. That is shocking to them. And Alabama was like, no, that's not what we agreed on. No, girl, you came to me and you said you'll take the punishment for your family if I can save their lives. And you didn't tell me about none of them killing the strangers. So because that information was withheld, you got to deal with life with the keepers. Lafayette goes off on these kids, and Alabama tells him, it's okay, I'll just take the punishment in stride. And Mallory's like, you can't go to the keepers, and it's like, it's too late, you know? So it's already done. The deal's been made, the deal's changed because I didn't tell him that information about Proofrock killing the strangers, but now that that's out, I gotta pay for these crimes. So now all of a sudden we get our biggest answer, where the heck is Meryl? And Meryl's in this truck with the carnival wheel on it and the dog on the roof. But this is just, what the freak? It makes no sense, but you know what? This is exactly what I love about this book. Very colorful action, very colorful dialogue. So Meryl pulls up, tells everyone to get on, and they all just make a run for it. Alabama has to stay back. Like, Proofrock is like, get on the bus with us, let's make a run for it. No, I can't go anywhere. I have to pay for what's been done. So it's a very touching moment, but where are the keepers and who are the keepers? So as they go off, this guy tells Mallory from issue number 4, like, hey baby, I love you, but I can't let you take my truck. Keith, you are handsome, but I'm sorry, it was just never meant to be. My name's Cliff, as he falls off. So Lafayette goes off. He, slows him down. This grappling hook goes on the bus and gets Oberon and drags him back. And then everyone tries to make a run for it. They're making a run for it. Mallory wants to go back, and Prufrock's like, no, they've all made their decisions. We made ours. We got to go. That's just awesome. So we get more of an idea what they're going to do with Prufrock and the other kids, and the dialogue between the boys in blue and this clown. Even though they know each other, they know the rules of the game, it's just all posturing how they deal with each other just to make it look like, hey, respect my authority, you know what I mean? They each got pull, but they each got different, unique kind of pull, you know? So they end it with the boys in blue is like, okay, so what are you gonna do with these kids? I don't know, leave them, the wild can have them. So now we're getting introduced to some new gangs, the wild and the keepers. And also, they have a way of communicating if he ever needs the carnival to happen again to shoot up the torches. Oh man, this is gonna be exciting. So there's gonna be some meat on the bone I'm gonna leave with this issue. I'm gonna just end it with, hey, you know, obviously Prufrock is still on the hunt for Sid. We do get to find out where Sid's at, so to speak. Oberon gets dropped off in the woods, and we don't know what's in the woods. Lafayette and Alabama, they get introduced to the keepers, and they're warned by the boy in blue, everybody, we're here, no messing around. The keepers don't like jokes or things they don't understand or people. It's gonna be okay, says Alabama to Lafayette. And they get introduced to the keepers, which is the grown-ups. I thought throughout this whole duration of the story, there are absolutely no grown-ups. I personally thought the strangers were the grown-ups. I still don't know, but there's still something eerie about them. And so they get introduced to the keepers. It's just very odd, and it's at a zoo, and that's it right there. So Oberon's in the woods and getting introduced to the wild. Everyone else just keeps driving, and we end with Sid getting operated on with this pregnancy that she's had, or delivering a baby, but we just don't know her exact location. And that's where we end What's the Furthest Place from Here, issue number 6, and the first story arc of What's the Furthest Place from Here. I absolutely love it. Right when you think you have the world kind of figured out, they introduce a few conceptual hand grenades. Adoption. I mean, kids adopting kids. What can go wrong? The selection process takes place like it's on the playground PE, you know? I remember that. I was that kid that was picked in the middle. Very couple times I was picked last, but don't judge me for that, internet. It tells us more about the families that are adopting the kids and the kids themselves. The boys in blue and the carnival fight over jurisdiction issues. It's a weird kind of local law versus FBI relationship. The carnival seems to act in the name of the strangers. They travel, meeting out, serving out justice. Their destinations are top secret. And the boys in blue seem to only be concerned with the families in the immediate area. The keepers are a mystery. We know they serve as a function though. We know they're not volunteers. We know that the sentence to join the keepers is for life, and their number eventually age into adulthood. It's almost like the Night's Watch kind of Games of Thrones types of organization. And from what I understand, I hope issue 7 and further issues should tell us a story how we got into this world that they're in. But I dug the book. Link in description if you guys wish to add this comic book or any of the comic books in your comic book collection. With that being said, What's the Furthest Place from Here, issue number 6. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy and don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Don't forget to check us out on our other social media platforms, Instagram and TikTok. Also on Whatnot, where we do awesome comic book auctions, giveaways, and auctions and bids. You get comic books at bargain prices, amazing value at our auction site. Link in description if you wish to check us out on that, where you can bookmark us and check us out on our live. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.